Coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, I'm Ethan Moore, and I'll tell you about a coach who recently signed a contract extension and willingly took a pay cut.
Coming up next on Mountaineer Playbook, I'm Ty Holmes, and I'll give you insight on how WVU Football is approaching the new Big 12 Conference.
Coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, I'm Devin Anderson, and I'll tell you about the new positions coach for WVU Football in charge of the guys slinging the rock, and not one like this.
The Big 12 has a new look, but what does that mean for WVU football? I'm Jonathan Hamilton.
And I'm Rachel Liebert. Two coaches are leading the way for some of that team's biggest stars, but one of them is taking a pay cut to make sure Mountaineer fans can continue to trust the climb.
These stories and more coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, a sports magazine show produced by sports and adventure media students right here at West Virginia University.
College athletics are going through some pivotal changes, from name, image, and likeness deals that allow student athletes to make money to the transfer portal that allows them to change schools and play in the same year. All of these changes were made to benefit the athletes playing the game.
Conference realignment is also changing the face of college sports. In 2024, 20 universities will change athletic conferences, hoping to bring in more money for their programs.
Those changes are coming to the Big 12, directly affecting WVU football. Ty Holmes joins us in the studio to tell us more. Ty?
Thanks, Rachel. Jonathan, the Big 12 will have a new look next season as 4 teams join the conference, but major players like Oklahoma and Texas head to the SEC. For WVU football, the change is a chance to build off of last year's 9-win season.
The Big 12 is looking a lot different this year. The conference has new additions from the Pac-12, the Arizona Wildcats, the Arizona State Sun Devils, the Utah Utes, and the return of the Colorado Buffaloes. 2 of the top 3 finishing teams in the conference in 2023, Texas and Oklahoma, have left for the SEC.
The loss of the conference's 2 perennial powerhouses has made an opening for WVU. The momentum off of their Duke Mayo Bowl victory is an opportunity to make it to the top of the new Big 12.
New additions to the WVU roster include Garnett Hollis Jr. wearing number 1 and Jaheim Joseph wearing number 3, both from Northwestern University.
They played a lot of football, and they played quality football in a tough league.
But it's the returning players who may make a difference for the team. Quarterback Garrett Green threw for more than 2,400 yards last season with 16 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions. And Jaheim White led the Mountaineers in rushing yards.
Touchdown for Jaheim White, the freshman.
You know, last year I was focused on helping this team win, and this year that's my main goal as well.
ESPN's way too early preseason top 25 rankings did not have WVU listed, but they play 5 out of the 25 teams mentioned.
The Mountaineers will have to make up for some key players lost to the transfer portal in the offseason. Defensive lineman Mike Lockhart and safety Hershey McLaurin both played 12 games last season. Both have transferred away from West Virginia.
Thanks, Ty. When former athletic director Shane Lyons hired Neil Brown to lead WVU football in 2019, it marked Brown's first time at the head of a Power 5 conference team.
Now, just a couple of years later, Brown has completed his first 9-win season at West Virginia. He hopes to build off that success heading into the 2024 season with a new contract. Ethan Moore joins us live in the studio with his segment, Coach's Corner, to tell us what this new contract means for WVU. Ethan?
Thanks, Rachel. Jonathan? Athletic Director Ren Baker and WVU football head coach Neil Brown agreed to a 1-year contract extension earlier this year. Brown will earn $4 million next season, but the deal does come with a pay cut. I dug deeper into the contract details and what this means for the future of Brown's team.
WVU football head coach Neil Brown recently signed a 1-year contract extension with West Virginia University, ensuring his spot as head coach through the 2027 season.
You know, my family and I, we've enjoyed our time here. We want to continue to build this and do it in the right way.
Brown's contract extension involves a $400,000 pay cut over the next 4 years. All of that money goes back into the program, and Brown hopes to use it to reward his assistant coaches and support staff.
You're investing in people, and so they need to understand the importance level of it.
WVU football experts say flexibility is the common theme of this contract. Brown gains flexibility within his budget, and WVU gains flexibility with the lower buyout.
West Virginia sports analysts say after an unexpected result last season, Brown's contract negotiations give us an insight into who he is as a leader.
They lessen the buyout on their side to 75%, but at the same time that also gives Neil an opportunity as well. So there was give and take on both sides. He gets the additional year.
78 players will return to WVU's fall lineup, including some big names like quarterback Garrett Green and wide receiver Rodney Gallagher. This contract extension is yet another reason for fans to be excited.
I think West Virginia football fans are a winner because I think he's the right guy to run this program, and he's shown that. And to lock him in for an additional year and to keep this thing going, I think West Virginia fans win.
Spring football is officially underway as Brown continues to prepare his team and better this program for the fall.
The countdown to spring football is underway. WVU will play its annual Gold Blue scrimmage on April 27th in Morgantown. But the true test for Brown under his new contract will come as WVU faces Penn State in their first matchup of the 2024 season. WVU is hoping to beat nationally ranked Penn State this August for the first time since 1988.
Thanks, Ethan. One of the coaches who is getting rewarded because of Brown's new deal is quarterback coach Tyler Allen.
That's right, Jonathan. Allen's promotion comes after being with the team for the past 2 seasons as an offensive assistant. And as Devin Anderson reports, Allen is now working with one of the NCAA's most dynamic quarterback rooms.
We're the best in the country at this. We're the best in the country at this.
Tyler Allen started his coaching career at Jacksonville State in 2020. But before that, he spent time at Troy University, where he worked as a graduate assistant. That's where he met Coach Brown and his staff.
Really what impressed me about Tyler early was he wanted to get like straight to work. Like it was all business.
Allen's the youngest coach on WVU's staff and is taking the position after the departure of former QB coach Sean Reagan. One of the leading factors in Allen's promotion was his role in the development of starting QB Garrett Green.
According to Pro Football Focus, Garrett Green was one of the most underrated quarterbacks in college football last season. Not only did he have the highest completion percentage on big-time throws, but defenders chasing Green had the lowest pressure-to-sack conversion rate in the country at just 4.8%.
Green! Touchdown!
Allen first met his QB1 when Green took a recruiting visit to Troy University in 2018.
So I've known him since 2018, so we're going on 6 years now that I've built a relationship with him, and I was here when he got here, and then about 2 months in, I left to take the QB job at Jacksonville State, and coming back, really just picked up where we left off.
Allen has some high expectations to meet this fall as the Mountaineers are coming off their best season under the Neil Brown regime. For Mountaineer Playbook, I'm Devin Anderson.
Across midfield.
WVU basketball legend Jerry West is the most famous athlete to come from WVU. And this month, West was elected to the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame for a record 3rd time. West was first inducted as a player in 1979 and again in 2010 as a member of the 1960 U.S. Olympic team. Now, West joins the Hall of Fame as a contributor for his work as a general manager and consultant in the NBA. West spent 18 seasons running the front office of the Los Angeles Lakers, helping them reach dynasty status. That includes drafting stars such as Magic Johnson and James Worthy, as well as winning 6 world championships. West becomes the first person to be inducted into the Hall of Fame as both a player and contributor.
For the first time in television history, the NCAA Women's Championship saw more viewers than the men's game. The Women's National Championship between South Carolina and Iowa earlier this month averaged 18.9 million viewers on ESPN and ABC, breaking the record for the most watched ESPN event that was not football. The record-breaking game came only 2 days after the previous viewer record was broken during the UConn-Iowa Final Four matchup. The numbers are fueled by stars such as LSU's Angel Reese, UConn's Paige Beckers, and of course Iowa's Caitlin Clark, the first overall pick in this year's WNBA draft.
I think there's a lot of great interest in the women's game. I don't think you're going to see that disappear, even though some of the stars may graduate out year to year. But I think that interest will have some staying power, no question.
The Women's Championship is also now the most watched basketball game on either the college or professional level since 2019.
WVU Baseball's 2023 season was an historic one, as the team won its first Big 12 championship in program history. It also set attendance records, averaging 2,000 fans per game, and set a single game record of more than 4,300 fans in March of 2023.
And Jonathan, the Mountaineers are continuing that record-breaking success into the 2024 season, already breaking the all-time single-game attendance record this year with 4,614 in Randy Mazey's final year as head coach. Chris Jones has more.
For years, WVU Baseball played in the shadows of the more celebrated football and basketball programs. However, in those shadows, a quiet revolution was beginning, and it all started with a new coach, with a simple promise to build a baseball program that the state could be proud of.
A lot of people thought I was crazy for coming here. You know, the first time I'd take them to Hollyfield, they said, "What are you doing, Maze?" But, you had visions of the facility and the conference and the type of players we could get here, and I think we've accomplished a lot in my time here.
In 2013, Mazey's first season as head coach, the Mountaineers found a new home within the Big 12 Conference. Despite playing home games across the state in Beckley and Charleston, the Mountaineers finished third in the conference, although preseason polls predicted them to be last. During this season, not only did the team finally find success, but fan pride was becoming apparent. The opening game to a series against Kansas drew in 2,053 fans. At the time, the largest crowd to ever watch a home WVU baseball game, despite it being played in Beckley. Later in the 2013 season, a concoction of newfound success in a rivalry as old as time brought 2,500 fans out here to Hollyfield for the backyard brawl. However, 40 years of history was coming to an end. But the story picks up here, at Kendrick Family Ballpark, where an unprecedented fandom size continues to set the bar high for attendance. The 2023 WVU baseball season set a new season attendance record of 59,894 fans, and this translated into the off-season, where season ticket sales for the 2024 season surpassed over 1,000 tickets sold.
I think it's a direct reflection on the team as a whole. Obviously, winning a bunch of games. If I was having the success I have and we won 10 games, I don't think a lot of people would be coming. So I think it just has to do with the team as a whole. It starts with the coaching staff.
The pride Mountaineer fans have for the baseball team is partially attributed to J.J. Weatherholt's success. But there is no doubt that the continuous strides being made by the program helps keep their fan base around. For Mountaineer Playbook, I'm Chris Jones.
Halfway through the season, WVU is continuously ranking near the top of the Big 12 and entered the national rankings for the first time this season earlier this month.
The WVU Wrestling team sent 5 wrestlers to the NCAA Championships this year.
But it was the awards off the mat, Jonathan, that broke a program record. 6 WVU wrestlers earned National Wrestling Coaches Association Scholar All-American honors earlier this month. The honors are given to wrestlers for their academic achievements and commitment to sport. The Mountaineers broke the previous record of 4 wrestlers set in 1998. The team also extended their streak of 3 or more NWCA All-Americans for the 4th straight year. Senior Peyton Hall became the first 4-time Scholar All-American in the program's history, while senior Caleb Dowling received his 2nd award in back-to-back years.
After the break on Mountaineer Playbook, what happens to high school sports when there's no one there to make the call? We take a look at a shortage that's having an impact on prep sports in West Virginia.
That story and more after the break. Stay with us.
Should college athletes be paid to play? I'm Patrick Renaud, and up next on Mountaineer Playbook, I'll tell you about the lawsuit at an Ivy League school that could impact athletes right here at WVU.
Online sports betting has allowed Americans to bet straight from their couches through apps on their phone. I'm Rachel Liburd, and after the break on Mountaineer Playbook, I'll tell you just how online sports betting affects West Virginia.
Mountaineers know.
Let's go!
Really means let's try. Let's create. Let's explore. And let's do it all together.
Welcome back to Mountaineer Playbook. Athletes in the 5 top professional sports leagues, baseball, basketball, football, soccer, and hockey, are all represented by unions. These unions negotiate on behalf of players for benefits like minimum salaries, pensions, and health care.
But in college athletics, student athletes traditionally have not been given these same benefits, largely because a federal board ruled in 2015 they're not employees of their universities.
But nearly a decade later, that could change, Jonathan, and one Ivy League school is leading the way. Patrick Renaud joins us live in the studio with the story. Patrick?
Jonathan, Rachel, it's been almost 10 years since an attempt by Northwestern football players to unionize failed after a ruling from the National Labor Relations Board. But in 2024, that board is changing its tune. Earlier this year, it allowed Dartmouth College's men's basketball team to vote on unionization, leaving the door open for a potentially major change in college athletics.
On college campuses, student athletes are considered first and foremost that, students. Professor Ann LaFasso says that it's a heavy lift.
Often exploited by colleges. I myself was a college athlete. I was on the swim team as a diver, and you are subjected to grueling hours. It's like having a full-time job in addition to taking a full-time course load.
But in 2021, when the NCAA changed its rules on name, image, and likeness, athletes could essentially make money for playing collegiate sports. LaFasso says even though they're being paid, they're still not employees of the university. But when the National Labor Relations Board ruled Dartmouth basketball players could vote on whether to form a union, LaFasso says that distinction may have changed.
Employers never want employees to unionize because that means they have to bargain with them over terms and conditions of employment. And of course, employees always would prefer to unionize when they find that they have some sort of grievance against the employer.
A union means players can negotiate for a salary or health benefits or for workers' compensation coverage, paying them even if they get hurt. That would drastically increase the cost of athletic programs for universities across the country.
Dartmouth basketball players voted 13-2 in favor of forming a union. The vote could cause a domino effect, leading more student athletes to consider taking similar action.
WVU diver Christian Torres says if unionizing at WVU was an option, he would vote against it.
So I would say I wouldn't vote for it just simply because, I'm not really a fan of the idea personally.
Torres says he thinks it is a privilege for students to also be athletes at WVU and personally doesn't think they should be employees of the school.
It's not just student athletes that seem to be split on the issue. An AP poll found 55% of American adults are opposed to the unionization of college athletes.
Thanks, Patrick. Nearly $3 billion were expected to be legally bet on NCAA tournament games this year. BetMGM, one of the country's largest wagering apps, reported 4 times more bets were placed on the college basketball tournament than this year's Super Bowl. I took a look at how sports betting has changed the way Americans watch and interact with college sports.
In May 2018, the Supreme Court struck down the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act. The decision allowed states to pass individual sports betting laws. And today, you can bet on sports in 38 states, including West Virginia.
I feel like it gives people who normally watch a sport or don't really follow a team or a player, it gives them something to cheer for once they place a bet on someone or a team. It's definitely easier to be more interested in the game when you have money on the line.
Online sports betting began in West Virginia in August 2019. And in its first 2 years, the state generated over $46 million in revenue with the help of sports betting apps.
The most popular sports betting apps in West Virginia are FanDuel and DraftKings. And as fans can bet straight from their phones, West Virginia has seen an increase in revenue as sports betting is more accessible than ever.
In March of this year, West Virginians bet nearly $46 million on sports, and about $430,000 of that was collected in state taxes, which lawmakers say will positively impact the state.
Gambling revenue, which comes from West Virginia Lottery and gets essentially put in one big pot, goes to things like the Promise Scholarship, care for elderly homes for the elderly here in West Virginia. So very important things on where the money goes from that tax revenue.
In 2023, Americans bet almost $120 billion on legal sports books, changing the way the country watches and interacts with sports.
According to Forbes magazine, Americans gambled a record-breaking $66.5 billion in 2023. Since 2019, sports betting revenue overall is up more than 900%.
Since the 2018-2019 season, the National Federation of State High School Associations estimates about 50,000 people have stopped officiating high school sports. Reporter Mark Ratchford looked into why that is and why the referee shortage is being felt right here in West Virginia.
50% of middle and high school referees in West Virginia quit after just 1 year, which has created a shortage across the state. Officials often travel long distances, and in high school football, that's meant traditional Friday night games sometimes are played on Saturday to make sure refs are available.
Because the fact of the matter is, without officials, we don't have those sports. And so kids are going to miss out on opportunities if we don't get some people to fill those roles.
The average age of an official is 58 years old, and data from the National Federation of High School Sports shows that there are fewer young officials interested in taking the job. The number one reason why younger people aren't getting into officiating? Fan behavior. And it's gotten to the point where officials are out there getting assaulted, and even some officials are out there quitting mid-game because they can't stand the fan behavior. Baseball umpire Brennan Enos says that being able to block out the noise from the spectators is key when officiating.
The best advice I ever got is don't have rabbit ears, because no matter what you do, you're going to irritate half the community out there.
The West Virginia Secondary Schools Activities Commission is partnering with the State Department of Education and colleges and universities to incorporate officiating into physical education programs. They're hoping this will help them recruit new refs. For Mountaineer Playbook, I'm Mark Ratchford.
Coming up, we'll take you to experience one of the fastest growing entertainment sports in the country and show you where you can try it yourself right here in Morgantown.
And the WVU dance team takes on the nation. We get a behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to prepare to compete at nationals.
Those stories after the break. Stay with us.
I'm Alex Lebo. Coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, I'll tell you about an old-fashioned sport that's hitting the mark in Morgantown today.
Mom, I got in.
Quiet and ready in control room. 3, 2, 1. Fade in bumper.
WVU News is local, in-depth, and always on the move for you. And it's always on YouTube, on the web, and on the Reed College of Media website. A national first-place Emmy Award-winning college newscast taped at the Waterfront Studio at West Virginia University. Stay in the know, stay connected, watch WVU News.
Welcome back to Mountaineer Playbook. The Axe and Knife Throwing World Championships hosted more than 300 competitors in 2023, and this year is expected to attract 375 from across the U.S., Canada, and even the UK.
Participation has consistently grown in the competition that boasts a $60,000 prize. But how do these throwers prepare for such fierce competition? And can you get in on the fun? Alex Lebo joins us from Studio B at the Media Innovation Center with his segment, Finding Adventure, to tell us more. Alex?
Rachel, Jonathan, the World Axe Throwing League promotes axe throwing as a professional sport. With more than 150 affiliated leagues worldwide, they hope to grow the number of people participating even further. Many league participants are doing that by opening axe throwing venues in their own communities, opening them up to any member of the public to try their hand at the sport. I took a trip to Morgantown's local axe throwing league to learn more about the sport's growing popularity. Axe throwing has become one of the fastest growing entertainment sports in the country. From 2018 to 2019, sales grew by more than 300%. In Morgantown, you can give it a go at Mount Man Axe Throwing.
There's a lot of focus, there's a lot of zen involved, especially if you become involved in the league and you start throwing professionally. You start looking for higher and higher totals and scores until you finally get that magic 64.
Mount Man opened in 2018, giving West Virginians access to this international sport. Axe throwing has been around for thousands of years, and recently came back into modern popularity around 2014. And it's easy to see why. All you do is take your stance, aim at the target, and throw to your heart's content. Pretty satisfying, if I do say so myself. Consumers spent more than $6 million on axe throwing experiences in 2019, and participants like Kenny Money say it's worth it.
When you hit the center of the board and continue to keep doing that, it's really makes you feel good about yourself. Like I said, going with friends is also a lot of good times.
There are more than 300 teams that are a part of the World Axe Throwing League, including one at Mount Man's Bridgeport location. The league is pushing for the sport to be a part of the Olympics. There are 4 total WATL leagues in West Virginia, Mount Man's 2 in Star City and Bridgeport, Tickers and Timbers in Barbersville, and the Axe Hole in Beckley. Jonathan, Rachel, back to you at the Waterfront Studio.
Thanks, Alex. Dance is not an officially recognized sport by the NCAA, but that doesn't stop the WVU dance team from competing for a national championship.
The club team held a send-off event earlier this month where they performed their nationals routines for the first time in front of a hometown crowd. Our own Max Murphy was there and has this report.
The women of the WVU dance team are often seen at halftimes of sporting events performing for fans and teams. But this April, they get to show off their skills at the National Dance Alliance's Collegiate Dance Nationals in Daytona, Florida.
We're all very excited to show everyone what we've been working really hard on.
The dance team's 25 members will perform in categories such as team dance, jazz, and spirit rally during their 3 days down south.
This spotlight isn't new for these women. The dance team has won 4 NDA national championships in the team's history.
In 2023, WVU placed 3rd in the jazz dance category and 6th in the team dance category. And this year, they're looking to do even better.
Our motto is ETG push, so everything to gain, and that really is the mindset we go into, putting in many hours, countless hours, and lots of love for the team.
Despite the team being over 12 hours away, the Mountaineer fans can still support the dance team.
Yeah, the fans at WVU can support us on social media by sharing about our performance times, and they can actually go on Varsity TV and with a subscription watch us live.
This is the 10th year the team has competed at nationals, and the 4 seniors on the team who say it's a bittersweet way to end their collegiate dance careers. For Mountaineer Playbook, I'm Max Murphy.
The WVU dance team finished 6th out of 15 teams in the Jazz Finals and 4th in Team Performance Finals.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's edition of Mountaineer Playbook, a sports magazine show where we dive into inspiring stories of coaches, players, and passionate fans who make the sports world truly remarkable. I'm Rachel Liebert.
And I'm Jonathan Hamilton. Be sure to like and follow us on Facebook at Mountaineer Playbook. Thank you for watching, and don't miss the chance to celebrate the heart and the soul game with us next time on Mountaineer Playbook.